Namaste, welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Surrender Yoga. And we're going to do our little concept exercise again. And the concept exercise is all about pulling out a word, which is a concept or an idea or a thought stream or a dogma, whatever, belief, opinion. And it's just usually one word or two words that tries to represent and wrap itself around something that can really not be expressed by one word. The reality of who and what we are, the reality of life, etc. So these concepts are very, very limiting. And so often we as humans get so wrapped up in the concepts, so attached to the concepts, that we almost worship the concept rather than what the concept is pointing to. We live to conceptualize rather than live to live. We don't live full lives when we're stuck up in our heads. And concepts and attachment to concepts keep us stuck in our heads. So I am going to go ahead and pull a question from the jar, and I'm going to do my best. Not a question. I keep saying question because I'm so used to answering questions. Pull a concept from the jar, and I'm going to do my best to speak on it within 4 minutes. Prana. Prana. Take a deep breath. And I start speaking now. Prana. What is prana? Well, prana is a word that is associated with yoga, and as a yoga teacher, I talk a lot about prana. There's a session in my hatha yoga practices and sequences that is called pranayama, which is breath control. But prana is not just breath, and a lot of people get it limited to that idea that it's just breath. Not that anything can be just breath, because breath is the most vital force in life, is it not? Without our breathing, we would not be here. But prana is more the vital life force in which breath is a part of. So breath is encapsulated in prana. It represents prana. It too is a concept kind of representing prana. But prana is the vital life force from which all things emerge and all things continue to be manifested in the physical reality of our lives. We cannot be physical beings walking around this earth without breath, without prana. So again, breath is just encapsulated by this prana, but it's easier for our human minds, which are so concept-based and so conceptualizing, to focus on maybe the breath part of the prana, right? You breathe in breath, you breathe out breath. Prana, the vital life force, is breathed into us, and it's meant to flow through us. It's not meant to get stuck in us. It's meant to flow through like all energy. Energy needs to flow. Prana needs to flow. Shakti could be considered a part of this prana, and we, again, Shakti, prana, all these words, chi, kundalini, they're just words. Yeah, sure, they may be fancy words in Sanskrit, some of them, but they're still just concepts and words pointing to something that really has to be experienced to be known, right? But they point to those experiences. So these concepts point to the experience of the vital life force, or to what we refer to as that energy that flows through us as Shakti. So they're just pointing to something wonderful that has to be experienced. So prana is meant to flow through us, right? Like life. I always think of it in a sense, life. And so when I write, I often write life with a capital L. And in a sense, I'm talking about prana. Again, concept versus concept. But regardless, it's just meant to flow through us, right? But here we are always blocking it, averting it, grasping, pulling certain sections in, preferring some of it, not preferring others, making a total mess of this experience when we're just here to experience, to enjoy the experience, to feel that energy flowing through us and to other beings who we are a part of, because interbeingness is a very real thing. These separate entities that you see, the body lines on me, does not separate me from you, because I am not this body. You are not your body. You are that which is in the body. And in again is another concept that can be confusing, come to dualistic thinking. But just, I think of it that way now so we can understand that you're just utilizing this body. And so the prana is flowing through all of us, through all living things, all sentient, even the insentient things, because it is just creation, right? The life force, everywhere and in everything. So when we focus on breath, when we take those few minutes a day to do breath awareness exercise, watching as the breath comes in, watching the pause between the inhale and the exhale, the pause between the exhale and the inhale, which is called pranayama. And when we even control that breath to some extent by learning to say, okay, I'm going to breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, breathe out for 6 counts, hold it for another, keep that pause for another 2 to 4 counts. And there's all different components, names for those parts of the breath, and I'm not even going to go into that. But that breath is meant to breathe through us. We're not meant to cling to the breath. Imagine if you breathed in and you just held it and you didn't breathe out. What would happen? Right? You'd pass out. Carbon dioxide would rise up to the roof and whatnot. And what happened if you held your breath and you didn't breathe in? You wouldn't get the oxygen you need into the cells for cell metabolism, for the body to function. So we need breath, but we need to allow it to do its own thing of coming in and going out without controlling it. We can't control prana. We just need to embrace it and allow it to do its thing. Anyway, prana is the vital life force that's breathed into all of us, and we don't do the breathing. Prana is breathed into us and is breathed out of us. Just allow it to happen. Anyway, I probably went over my time. Thank you so much. Namaste.